Parshas Miketz, Chanukah, Maimer, Roni v'Simcha B'Tzion, Daf Lamed Vav Amud Aleph. We have to understand why is the Jewish people called Bas. As we say, Bas Tzion, Bas Yerushalayim. In other words, the Yidden are called daughters. And it says in Medrash, there's a mashal, there's an example of a king that he found himself a bride, and he had a tremendous dearness to her, so he had so much dearness till he called her daughter. And then he had even more dearness to her, and he called him my sister. And then he came to a tremendous love for her, and he called her my mother. And we have to understand what is those three levels that the Yidden are called: daughter, sister, and mother. And what is that symbolizing how a Yid serves the Eibishter? In order to understand that, first of all, we have to understand what it says in the Pasuk. Sometimes it says that Tener Ravaya Nishmas Adam, that the Neshama is the candle of Hashem. The Ner Ravaya, the candle of Hashem, is Neshamas Adam. Now that the soul of a person is like the candle of Hashem. And sometimes it says, Ata Neiri Hashem, that Hashem is the candle of the Yidden. So is the neshama of a person candle of Hashem, or Hashem is the candle of the Yidden? But the concept to understand that, first of all, we have to understand what it says in the Pasuk, Kol ha-neshama talal ko. All of the neshama, every living creation, will praise Hashem. The concept of praise, it comes also from the word be'ilui nerei, shining. In other words, all the concept that you didn't have to do is to shine. And the explanation is, it says in the Pasuk, Ani avale shenisi. Am the Eibishter did not change. In other words, before the world was created and after the world was created, there's no change whatsoever. By a soul, when it comes to the physical body, it being affected by the physical body. It comes into the body, he has a clothing which is machshava dibur maisa, and those clothing are completely surrounding the soul and pulls the soul in whatever direction a person does. Not just only your thought, when a person is thinking certain thought, is pulling a person in a certain direction, but also in speech and action also, they pulling the thought, speech and action, pulling the soul to a specific direction. But by Hashem, it says, my thought is not like yours. In other words, by us, a person is into thought, and you can have sometimes a person walking into a pole, is too involved in the thought, and he is not realizing what's happening. In other words, his soul is being grabbed by the thought, and the same thing by speech and action. But by Hashem, he does not being affected by the thought, and that does not grab him, does not pull him down. And that is what's the expression that your thoughts are grabbing the neshama, however the Eibishter is not being grasped by anything, and nothing pulls him down. And there's no change before the world created to after the world was created. And the reason is because all of the worlds do not take any space by him. They do not consider like anything. It's completely nothing. And even though he gives life to everything, and he is watching, and not just watching by Bashgacha Pratis and all the details, is watching everything is going on. As it says, Einecha Pkuches, your eyes are watching and everything is open. But it's in a way you have a kol golui v'yadua lefanecha. As we explained when we learned in Parshas Lech Lecha regarding Sdeim, so it says Eine Avai Meshetetes, and explain in great length that even though there's a concept of seeing an Hashgacha Pratis to very great detail, but nevertheless is not being affected. And the fact that there is such a concept as watching, this is the concept of only Golui V'Yadua. What is the concept of Golui V'Yadua? That is revealed, like something that is clear and revealed and is not being affected by it. As we said in one of the previous shurim, Parshas Vayera, and the Maimer Erdona Ketzakasa, as explained within great length.